Good morning, venerables. Do I see any familiar face? Yes, I do.
I'm new.
Oh.
I'm new.
For those who doesn't know me, my name is Katty Xiǎnzhì. I'm one of the, or maybe I should say, I am in this area one of the oldest student of Master Ju. So I knew him quite a while ago. I think it's in 1994. So maybe before you guys were born. Today is a very special day in the Chinese tradition. It's called Qingming Festival. In the Chinese tradition, there are two periods of time, one in the spring, one in the autumn time. Qingming is in the spring, and then the double nine festival, lunar calendar, is another one. So, those are some Chinese characters about Qingming. This is a very special day. It's a day that we teach our young people or children in the family. We teach them to remember those who already passed in the family. And also, we teach them the virtue or the value of, I hope I pronounced this correctly, filial piety, thank you, and gratitude. So it's a very special period of time. It's not just one, well, there is just one day called Qingming Festival, but it's actually covered for a few days. Maybe we can say that, that in that season, especially, we try to get the family members together. We try to go to the ancestors' tomb, weeding, cleaning up, sweeping. Unfortunately, it's called festival. Unfortunately, this is not for celebration. This is for memory of who passed in the family. And personally, I call it, it's a period or it's a day that we mourn for the loss of our loved ones. I still recall, the first Qingming when my mother passed away. So it's not a happy time. We cannot say like Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, Happy Birthday. We cannot say Happy Qingming. Okay, but it is a Chinese tradition though that it's been there or here for thousands of years. So speaking of mourning, now let's look around our world. Is there one day that is not Qingming? Is there any one day that we don't see people mourning for their lost one? For the loved one that passed? Already there, right? Mm-hmm. So we lost our loved ones through what? Wars, gunshots. Sounds familiar? Accidents. How about pandemic? How about sickness or disaster? Do we have just some earthquake in Turkey? Very, very sad, right? So some of them are caused by human. Some of them are just natural disaster like the climate, tsunami, eruption, a volcano. But some of them are actually man-made. We unfortunately created that. So all these, when it happens, it's nothing but suffering. Nothing but suffering. Whether those who die or injured by all these incidents, or for those who are families or relatives. So nothing but suffering. So let's say for people who lost their loved ones in war and gunshot accidents and even pandemic, they, then you might ask the question, pandemic, is it a natural disaster? Not necessary. Okay, if we are not be careful about our environment, if we let those germs go wild, that can happen, right? We are responsible for part of it. May not be all, but at least part of it. We contributed it. So can these kind of tragedy or turmoil be avoided? How can we bring harmony to the society, to the world that we are living now? How can we do that? So, personally, or what I learned from the Buddha's teaching is, if we want to cure, or if we want to put an end to suffering, we need first to find out what caused it. Like for these couple weeks, I wasn't feeling that well. Actually, today, I'm not at my best health condition to give talk, but thank Lee very much that he switched it with me, because I have a whole bunch of tests and specialists coming up at the end of the month, so I need the time to do that. So the question is, what caused all these to happen? What caused? I can come up with one, not just single, but one of the main reasons. It's called conflicts. Why there are wars among countries? Why? Why people argue? Why we say different things or think differently because of culture different? Why are we arguing? Because we have different viewpoints? How about religion? I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not a Catholic. I'm not whatever religion. But my doctrine is the righteous one. My doctrine, my idea, my belief is the ultimate one. Even within Buddhism, we have different schools. They're saying that, okay, Yogacara is the ultimate one that will bring you to liberation. No. Madhyamika will do. So, religion, even within ourselves, have we ever argued? Like one side, there is an angel saying that, no, Katty, this is not the right thing to do. And the other side, my evil side, say, hey, go ahead and do it. What the heck? Conflicts, even within this person, okay? And then because of that, most of the time, our emotion got affected. We got angry, we got disturbed, we getting aggressive, we have ill wills. So conflict is one of the big reasons. Now, how conflict arises? It's because of ignorance. Ignorance about not knowing the truth. We just react according to our own habitual pattern. And because of this kind of not knowing, because of this kind of illusion, ignorance, we crave and we averse. So how do we eliminate the conflicts and put an end to suffering? Because we know that because of conflict, we suffer, right? So how do we put an end to suffering? Now, like I just mentioned, we need to find out what caused it. What are the roots or the root that cause it? This brings up to Buddha's teaching of the Four Noble Truths. The second one, it's called the causes of suffering or origination of suffering. How to practice the Four Noble Truths? Let's, stand kind of, interview the topic for a little bit and just introduce a little bit on how to practice the Four Noble Truths. First of all, we know that the first noble truth is suffering, dukkha, right? So sometimes we won't admit there is suffering. What suffering? What are you talking about? I live in this mansion and I'm driving a Mercedes and I have a good family. My husband is so nice. That is when he's not mentioned his work, okay. Then I have, beautiful daughters. I have handsome sons. What do you mean by suffering? We won't admit it, but the Buddha said that it's the fact. Suffering is the reality of life. So we have to know it, we have to realize it, we have to admit it. By admitting, then we'll be able to find out what caused it. If we don't even admit there is suffering, then what's the purpose of finding out the cause? If there is no suffering, there's no cause, right? So how do we practice the next one? The second noble truth is to find out the cause. By finding it out, we'll be able to cut it off, put an end to it. Then the Buddha said, through his own experience, he said that these kind of suffering can be stopped, can be eradicated. So it's a cessation of suffering. And the fourth one, the Buddha said that, hey, practice this way. It can lead you from misery to liberation. That's the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Noble Path. So now before we can do that, we do have some prerequisites, okay? Some fundamental or basis that we need to base on before we can do that. So what are these? They are called the right view at the mundane level. We have to know they're good and they're bad. They're wholesome, they're unwholesome. If I'm saying that everything is good, everything is fine, everything is wholesome, then how about killing? Okay? How about stealing? How about gossiping? So we have to know that what is right and what is wrong. And then we have to understand that for a result of flute to happen, there must be a cause. It does not jump out from nowhere. And the next one is that we need to know that there are previous, present, and future. Because without previous, present, and future, then where are the cause coming from? It cannot happen just right at this moment. Think about our thoughts. We think about something and it's gone. That's previous. What we are thinking now is the present. What we are going to say after we think is the future. And I understand that it's a little bit difficult to comprehend because, you know, when we're talking about previous, present, and future, we will maybe directly think about previous life, this life, and future life. That's nothing wrong. That's correct. But then we can take it moment to moment too. Okay? And there is a difference between the untrained people, what we call the worldling, and then the sage, who are well trained, getting on the path towards liberation. So this gives us encouragement that, yeah, sorry, at this point, I'm an untrained worldling. I'm just an ordinary person. I'm just a common person. But with practice, eventually I'm getting there. I'll become one of the liberated ones. To talk big, I'm going to be a Buddha eventually, in the future. I don't know how long. Don't quote me. So, but eventually we are getting there. We'll get there. So, so the causes, mainly there are three, what we call the three poisons: craving and aversion. Now these are actually, you know, two sides of the same coin. I don't have a coin, but I can use my mask. This is the same mask. This side is black. The other side is white. Okay, so they're actually the same thing, except that, you know, looking from different sides or different angle. Now, ignorance is our biggest enemy here. It's actually the root of craving and aversion. But we will go into that, you know, step by step in more detail with my, you know, talk this year. This year, I'm going to focus on the second noble truth, the causes of suffering. Craving. Everybody knows me, know that I crave for chocolate. I would say that I'm not sure if that happened since I was born or since I know chocolate. One way or the other, I crave for chocolate. I can eat chocolate for meals after meals after meals. How I get diabetes? Because I finished half gallon of chocolate ice cream every day for like 2-3 months. So even though when I was pregnant, and I got called in by my doctor and say that, hey, you have pregnancy diabetes. I said, no, Dr. Mamtasi, no, I just finished half-pound of chocolate. So it doesn't count, okay? So chocolate. I still crave for it, but kind of, slow down to maybe one piece a day. Still not good, but getting there. So craving, because of craving, suffering is unavoidable, and ignorance lies at the root of suffering. Now, I will finish the definition of suffering and then, end my talk today, and then we'll go on, continue for the next one, because we have a long chanting today, right? That's what Don told me. So craving, the definition, and this is from Samyutta Nikaya 56.11 Sutta. And this, monks, is the noble truth of the origination of dukkha, suffering. The craving that makes for further becoming, accompanied by passion and delight, relishing now here and now there. 3 kinds of suffering. Number 1 is called craving for sensual pleasure. Now, sensual, sometimes can be misleading. So we would like to use sensory pleasure. That means the pleasure that pleases our eyes, our nose, tongue, ears, and body. Okay, those are the 5 senses that we crave to please them, and then craving for becoming. In other words, craving for existence. Now, who would like to die? Nobody likes to die, right? I would like to exist or live as long as possible. So, craving for becoming, or even for next life. Craving for non-existence or non-becoming. Well, homeworks for you guys. Go and find out what those terms are. I will Google it first. They have a lot of answers. So let's jump a little bit to here. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be liberated. And I thank you all.